here we go. Hey everybody, it's Anna. Welcome back to my Fluid Art channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today's painting is part of a fun little collaboration with Claire Calvert and Nate Bright. They both are excellent fluid artists and I love doing collaborations with them. So we decided on this a few weeks ago and Claire said, oh, I'm really longing for spring. So we said, how about Claire picks the theme, I pick the technique, and Nate picks the colors. So Claire's theme is spring, and Nate picked a wonderful color palette, which is essentially these 5 colors, which I've supplemented with just a little bit. And then I picked the technique, which is going to be a ribbon pour. So the ribbon pour obviously is a very versatile technique. Mine's going to be another spinning ribbon pour, kind of the spirograph style ribbon pour like I did a few weeks ago. But it should be a lot of fun. So my colors here, some of them were leftover paints, like this one I think is a sky blue mixed with some white, and it looked like exactly the right color, so I just grabbed it. This one was a custom mix of greens. This is Rouge. This is a custom, I think this one was Quinacridone Rose lightened with some white. And this was either lemon yellow or primary yellow, also lightened with white, to make this really beautiful spring palette. And then I have a lighter metallic pink, kind of a medium one, which was a blend of 2 metallics. And I have a metallic magenta, a metallic cobalt blue, and this really lovely, almost key lime pie green. And then I have a giant cup of white, which is going to help be my base color. So in terms of the consistency of this, I don't think this big cup is going to be the right one to show you the consistency because the stick is, it's hard to do it on a big stir stick. So let me show you the consistency a little bit better here. So it's kind of a medium. It flows nicely. You can see it makes a mound. It's a soft mound, meaning as the flow hits the surface, it's not a really defined stream of paint. It's soft, and it disappears within 2 or 3 seconds. So that's kind of a medium. It's not really thick, but it's also not terribly thin. So that's the consistency that I have all my paints at. None of them have silicone oil. They are all mixed with Floetrol, about 2 parts Floetrol to 1 part paint. Some paints might have 3 parts to 1, some may have 1 to 1, it just depends. All the information about the brands and the colors are down in the video description, but that should, this is a 20-inch canvas, and I'm doing it on a spinner. That's all my details. Let's make a painting. So the last 2 spinning ribbon pours that I've did had a solid white background, and I just poured it on and spread it out with a palette knife, and then I ribbon poured my design out onto the canvas. Today I think I want to try something a little bit different. The background is still going to be primarily white, but I want to add a little bit of blue, maybe a little bit of my rouge, maybe a little bit of yellow, just so that as it pours out, it's going to be mostly white with a little bit of kind of some pastel details. So it's going to be kind of a straight pour in the middle, which I will do as a spin. So it'll be like half straight pour, half ribbon pour going into the middle, and then that will become my base coat, and then I'll do the other colors in ribbons on top of it. So I'm going to start by putting just a bunch of white in this cup. And then let's pour in some blue, and I'm pouring it from a height so that it falls down into the cup instead of stacking on top. That should get it nice and blended. All right, now I'm going to add some more white. Let's do a bit of yellow. but not too much. And some metallic blue, because I think having blue in the background will make it feel very much like a sky color that all of the other spring colors can kind of dance around. A little bit more white. That is pretty. So those colors look pretty bold in there, but I think as I pour it out, it's not going to be... We'll see. Maybe it'll be more colorful. No, there's plenty of white paint in there. They will go more pastel. So let me make sure that I can spin this and not bump into my colors. Excellent. Ooh. Keeping this centered is going to be the trick because it's such a big canvas. Okay. So I'm going to start spinning this and then pour it in the middle. So it's going to start out very much like a straight pour, and then I'm going to move the cup out to the outside so it'll start to spiral. Here we go. Well, what was I saying about the color dispersing? Somehow all the color ended up like right in the top of the cup. And so the bottom was very white. Whoops! That's all right. It's beautiful, and we definitely have ribbons. It's almost like we've got a ribbon of white going into this nice, colorful background. We got some cool cells. Yeah, it's really pretty. I'm gonna put a bit more white here around the edge, because as I spin it later, all of this will stretch, but I want to make sure that we have paint to cover all the way out to the corners. So I'm spreading the paint to cover the corners completely and cover the sides at least largely. If there's some sections of side that are not covered ahead of time, it's all right because the paint will spin and stretch over, but you definitely want to get the corners. So that is more or less covered. There's a little bit of gapping, but as I spin it to pour the ribbons on, it'll all stretch. I'm going to torch the base to perhaps bring up a few more cells in the middle and also pop some air bubbles. Isn't this interesting how the blue has come up through the white and made cells? So instead of just like a streak of ribbons, it's become cells. That's really beautiful. So for the rest of my colors, they're going to get layered in some little paper cups. And then I'm going to pour them out in different patterns. So because the center is so beautiful, I had been trying to think about how am I was going to start in the middle and then move further out, because once you do the outside, it's harder to do in the middle without crossing over what you've already done. But the middle is so beautiful that I think I'll do sort of an outer design and then one or two where I'm crossing over the entire thing. So I definitely want a green cup, and that's going to be my olive. It's more of a sage, and my key lime. That's not its official name, it's just what it reminds me of, is a key lime pie. And a bit of white in there too. Alright, and back to the green. And I think I will add a little bit of yellow into this cup as well, because I think yellow would complement the green quite well. Look at that cute little cup. Alright, so there's my green cup. Then I want a nice light pink cup. So it's going to be mostly this Quinacridone Rose that's been lightened up. And the lighter metallic. But I think a little bit of rouge as well, especially if we put it right next to white. So there's a bit of dark, but then it's also getting lightened by the white right away. And more of the light pink, and maybe some of the darker metallic this time. That's pretty. Okay, and I think I probably do want a blue cup, even though the background is largely blue. I want to have the ability to put out some blue ribbons, and that'll just be the 2 blues as well as some white. Okay, so that's a little bit smaller of a cup because I don't know how much I'm going to use it. I think I'm going to pour some ribbons out and then see if we're lacking in any particular color. And if we're lacking, then I'll mix up a cup that has more of that color. Great! This is exciting. So my first one is going to be in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out on the outside edge. It's going to make kind of a flower petal design, and I'm not going to go all the way in, only to about there. So let's do it. Oh, I'm going to pinch the cup to try to make a nice thin stream of paint coming out. Okay, so much for thin streams and so much for thin paint. I think my paint was a little bit too thick. It was having trouble pouring out really fine, so it just kind of plopped out. Which is not the best look. Let me put a little bit more pink paint into the cup and try to get a thinner stream as I pour it out this next time. Because it's a beautiful color, but I don't like those blobs. Man. Whew. Okay, this is looking very pink now because the outsides are all pink. I like the ribbons around the edge. I just had to move the cup much slower. When I was trying to go fast, it just dumped it. I'm not too concerned though, because as we spin this and stretch, a lot of this pink is going to go off the edge. So most of what's going to be left are these little ribbons, which I like a lot. Next, we're going to do the green cup. This one, I'm going to do it similar, except I'm going to try to do nice thin streams like this, but all the way across and all the way back. But I'm not going to cross quite over the middle, so I'm going to do it kind of like here along one side. Whoa! That's amazing. Crazy. I love the back and forth pattern, how it just, on the spinning canvas, it makes those amazing ribbon designs. And we have lost a lot of the pink, which is good. There's still plenty on there, but we've lost a lot of the, like, crazy stuff. So I'm wondering a little, do I even need blue ribbons, because we've got pink ribbons, we've got the green and yellow ribbons. We have so much blue that's already down. I wonder if adding blue ribbons is going to make it too blue. Okay, I don't want to do a lot of blue ribbons, but I want to do a few, because I think having striping through the middle in another color design will make it just a little bit more interesting. So here we go. We're going to do it basically the same, out and back, just a few times. Okay, unfortunately we had a big splotch here. That's where I was trying to pour it and it didn't come out right away. So I may be able to dab some of that up. Okay, got that shaped a little better. May have to clean it up a little bit with a brush just because it doesn't look exactly like the rest of the canvas. My blue squiggles are not centered quite as well as the green ones were. This is madness. This is absolute madness, but it's really pretty. Let me torch it again. I wish I had done a little bit more with this center, made it spiraled more towards the middle before I added the ribbons of paint, because that blue center has grown, but it's all right. It is okay. If I were to add more, I don't know what I would add, and I don't know where I would add it. We've got plenty of pink, we got lots of the green and yellow, we got plenty of blue. It's maybe heavier on the blue than I wanted, but I like it a lot. I think it's good. Let me give you a close-up. Okie dokie, here we go. So I gave it one more spin after I turned off the cameras just to make sure that I didn't have too much paint on the canvas, because I didn't want it to kind of spread and warp because of having too much paint on. And I think this is the orientation that I like. The blue thing in the middle is slightly off-center, so I think having it above center feels more balanced than having the canvas any other way. But let me show you how it looks. So these ribbons have all kinds of detail in them. Look at all that cell action that you get. That's from the metallic blue reacting with the other colors. Where some of the ribbons overlapped each other, you get this interesting, almost like a swipe effect where one cuts through. But for the most part, they just lay on top. I love how you have so many different layers, the pink layers, the blue layers. And then there's the blue cells. That was from the base layer. I mean, it looks like a plant. I guess that's why they call it cells. And then down here, there's a bunch more of those. And then more kind of tentacles from the blue ribbons. And then moving to the middle, obviously we've got that large blue area, but lots of lovely crossing over lines. So it's really cool. I love it. Also, it's big, you know, like this is definitely this is a standout piece, and it's very different from a lot of the stuff that I do. So I'm really happy with it. Let me show you how it looks when it's dry. Okay, here it is. It dried beautifully. It didn't really shift or warp or anything. So let me show you how it looks. The metallics are nice and shiny. Look at that light pink metallic and the blue metallic. So that's really beautiful. And that'll look even better when it's varnished. I think my favorite part of all of this is the green and yellow ribbons. They make it look so springy and fresh. This little thing, when I showed it to Claire and Nate, Nate said, "Look at the little goose." So that's the place where the blue, I ended up reshaping it because it was a strange blob. And so I love that little goose head. That's cute. Love these little tentacles. It's just really, really cool. And then in the middle we got all those nice thin green lines and the blue metallic center. So I think this is really cool. If I could change a couple things about it, I would have had the background be slightly more pastel, and I wouldn't have added as many of the blue stripes. I feel like it's a little bit bluer and a little bit darker than I wanted it to be, but I love it a lot. So I'm very happy with this. Thank you all for watching this fun spinning ribbon pour video. Be sure to check out Nate's video and Claire's video. I will have links to both of them down in the video description, and they should be a lot of fun as well. I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys!